Welcome one and all to the LCS Proving Grounds. Yet again, we're in the lower bracket today. I'm Mazel, joined by Joshi and Desrex. And guys, I could not be more excited. Just going into it, first thoughts. Joshi, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I got my favorite team going up against a team with some of my favorite players on it. They're going to go head to head, but unfortunately, it's going to be bittersweet no matter what because one of them's going to be going home.
It is indeed. It is all on the line today for both of these teams. But Desrex, how you feeling? You ready to bring the hype?
I'm ready to bring the hype. I'm personally excited because my expectations are out the window. If you were to look at my August absurdity bracket, goodbye, it's in flames. But I rather
Same.
have it this way because that means teams have exceeded our expectations.
Exactly that. And speaking of exceeding some expectations, we obviously have Champions Queue going on all the time, but we also have the split standings here now in the updated Champions Queue. And as we all know, strong representation from the Academy teams here, especially looking at Arrow with that first spot. Not too shabby, Joshi.
Yeah, Arrow's definitely been a fun player to watch this entire season. Lennon, I know you know he's definitely one of the most talked about players this entire split, but I also got to look at everybody else. We got so many Academy players up here in the top 20 fully, not quite fully half, but it feels very close with the number of players that are just right up there. And we always say the difference between LCS and Academy in terms of individual skill is generally not as large as most people think it is.
But that's all Academy. Keep in mind, there's an amateur name in there.
There
I see
is!
you,
I was
Kino,
gonna
EGP.
say! Alright, I see you.
Damn, Johnny!
Yeah, exactly that. But hey, huge shout out and hey, keep grinding out there. Keep grinding out there. Gotta love me some Champions Queue. But in all actuality, right, there's been a lot of development, even in Champions Queue, but especially in Academy and Proving Grounds across this season. And we obviously, with Academy having finished the regular season, now it's into Proving Grounds, we get to start talking about our most valuable prospects. And Desrex, I know you had a special shout out for one of our runners up for the most valuable prospects, and you put together a nice video for C9 Academy's Shaden. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
In Academy this split, but one jungler stood out as someone with a constantly rising ceiling, ever adapting to the challenge, not just from his mechanical play, but from the real-time development week to week. Someone making up for lost time with a ravenous competitive hunger. Shaden. Despite Cloud9's early roster issues, it would not take long for him to find his bearings. The mechanical excellence and carry potential of a resource-heavy jungler would shine bright in Week 2, when Shaden's TLA would set a 14-kill record that would not be passed for the split. On an individual level, Shaden holds nothing back. Where most rookie junglers would see high-risk scenarios and cut their losses, Shaden prefers to cut the enemy team's wins. Twice in the regular season, Cloud9 were down at Baron. Twice they relied on Shaden alone to make a save. And when Cloud9 need him most, Shaden clutches. Shaden was able to synergize with the solo lanes well. It started with a lot of hovers around Darshan at the top lane, and continued to teamfight synergy around his mid lane with Copy. When Shaden would lock into his solo lanes, the dive potential and follow-through was a thing of beauty. For the first half of the split, Shaden played to comfort. He was a resource-heavy carry jungler, taking 26% of Cloud9's kills and boasting the highest CS per minute in his role at 6.4. Towards the second half, we saw Shaden expand his champion pool into tanks. Champs such as Poppy and Zac would have Shaden playing aggressive frontline engagers. Shaden had a standout debut. In the 36 games of the Academy regular season, Shaden leaves it with the most kills in his role at 147, a 4.0 KDA, and the highest economy generating jungler, all while it being his first split in Academy and Proving Grounds. Nice to have, right? Shaden?
Not too bad.
He was definitely one of my front runners throughout the entire split. I feel like he was the one where you could actually see his development from week to week. Week 1, it kind of sucked. It was kind of a bummer. It was a sub squad. It was all right. As they improved the synergy with Darshan, the synergy with Copy, going forward, stepping out of just power farming and going into more of that engager, going into that more of that frontline role as we saw at the later half of the split. There were so many big changes we saw from Shaden and made it such a joy to watch him develop throughout the entirety of the Academy summer split.
And nobody disagrees that Shaden might be the most mechanically gifted player we have in all of Academy. He's definitely one of our most prolific players, and he's somebody that we knew was going to have an opportunity to play at some point, even despite his earlier competitive ban. teams were still courting this guy. They knew this guy was
Yeah.
going to be really, really strong. And putting him on Cloud9, where he's got so many veterans around him to try and help him develop, it's a perfect opportunity to see Shaden try and find his stride and look for an opportunity to actually win. And as we start seeing them playing Proving Grounds, well, they haven't quite lived up to the lofty expectations we have of them as a
Yeah.
team. We know that they're going to be bouncing back, and we can expect to continue seeing him, and at the very least, Academy going into 2023.
Hey, and it's just the beginning. That is the craziest part to me. It is all about growth here on out. It's huge shout outs as our runner up for most valuable prospect in Shaden. But now you may be asking while we're all here. If you're asking that, well, I'm glad you tuned in, because
Who are
what
these
is
guys?
Proving Grounds? What could it possibly be? It is the end all be all developmental cycle tournament for NA developmental itself. It is 10 academy teams and 10 amateur teams going at it in a double elim tournament, as I believe we're going to be bringing up the bracket for you here now and show you a little bit of what we've had in store so far. Because if you haven't tuned in to just now, well, you've missed a lot of really good stuff. All right, you might want to go look at some more games. But until this point, right, it has been a battle with a lot of academy teams coming out on top, Joshi.
And Lennon, for anybody who's been watching LCS only and hasn't been taking a look at the academy or amateur side of things, Dignitas, LCS, Dignitas Academy, they are suddenly looking so good, you guys. They've had some of the toughest bracket runs, and now they find themselves waiting in grand finals. They had to play against Area of Effect Esports. They were able to take them down. They had to play against FlyQuest, who a lot of people saw surging towards the end and were expecting to see in the top 4. They had to play against Team Liquid Honda, the #1 most dominant academy team that we've seen in years. And then Cloud9, the team that was just below them almost the entire season. Dignitas has beaten every single one of them.
Yeah, in all actuality, it's been a heck of a run, right? We were talking so much about 100 Thieves, about Team Liquid Honda coming into this one, but the slow and steady beast coming through and really making a presence here is Dignitas. Even with that change-up of roster, they have come out and smashed opponents, Desiree.
Oh, that's such a good point to bring up. The change-up of roster, it doesn't feel like it was too focused to keep this all together for Academy. But given the cards they're handled, given the hand they're dealt, my word, they are in finals now. I think that's absolutely phenomenal so far for a team that, especially considering they were, 4th place in the regular season? Every single team that was placed above them is now in the lower bracket. Dignitas is showing up with a very hard road they had to fight through, given the seeding they were given.
Yeah, it's nothing is given, right? It's all about that growth, all about the progress. And I know Perry was very excited to lock in that finals berth, but especially the fact that the entire team is just so excited, so motivated. You're seeing from the top down, right? Not even just the players, but it's the staff behind them. Everybody's just jumping up and down. The elation is great, and that is that motivation. That's that drive to push forward, Joshi.
Yeah, Perry's been one of my favorite players to watch so far during Proving Grounds, right? He's still one of these players that we continue to pride as being one of the smartest junglers coming into the academy, especially as a substitute towards the end. And we're getting to see the team is playing so well towards his strengths. He's not a player who's going to be playing all these crazy mechanical junglers that are going to jump on top of you and carry the game on their own. No, he's been playing these stun clickers, right? He'll play the Volibear, he'll play the Zinjo, he'll play the Poppy, things that are fairly straightforward. And he just has so much success because he knows how to set up these ganks, and the team is allowing him to succeed.
Yeah, it's actually been really incredible to see their rise as a team. But if you want to see that rise in person, well, you got to buy tickets. And we are going to be in person for the first time with an audience for the Proving Grounds LAN. You've got to go get some tickets. It'll be at the LCS studio where all the legends of NA have been made. And you'll be right there alongside them to watch another team potentially lift those medallions. Follow at Path to LCS for any updates on that, to where you find tickets, where you find any of the content that we make, where you find any of the information about Proving Grounds. It's going to be fun. You do not want to miss out. We will find out over the next 2 days, right, who we will be seeing at those best ofs at least. And again, you don't want to miss out, especially if you saw. I know we have the medallion pick. It's cool. It's all. If you didn't see the Rafa threatening you with a guitar, please go look at that, and it'll make you buy tickets. I'm stuck on that one. I'm sorry. But we got to talk a little bit about today. It is all about the lower bracket. We said it's make or break, win or go home, and it's those land spots on the line, Desirex.
You know, nothing too surprising here. I know we started this bit back in like the second week of Proving Grounds when we saw AGT up there. Now they're still in top 6. You know, nothing too surprising here. Nothing too surprising. No, it's been a complete devastating Proving Grounds for anyone who submitted an August Absurdity bracket. And looking at every single one of our teams end up down here. You know, Team Liquid Honda, 100 Thieves, our top 2 who are so anticipated so highly, especially after what we saw in spring from them over in the finals. We will have a completely different finals this time. Those two, you know, they might not even make it into the next bracket. Who knows what's going to come up next? I don't know. Yeah. I'm rolling the dice right now for results.
I mean, we have the first, second, third seed still in the bracket in the top 6, and Team Liquid, 100 Thieves, and Cloud9, but it's our 4th seed who's currently waiting in Grand Finals. Immortals came in as our 7th Academy seed, and AoE Ginger Turmeric was all the way down towards the bottom. These guys have made a miracle run in order to find their way here, and now they're playing for the opportunity to be the first ever amateur team to play in Proving Grounds LAN, and they've already beaten 100 Thieves Academy.
Yeah, storylines write themselves, and I'm here for the AoE Ginger Turmeric making it to the LAN for the first time for amateur. It's all on the line, especially tomorrow when that series does take place. But we got to look back, and we got to give some shout outs to some players who we will no longer see in the Proving Grounds, and some honorable mentions here from this last week. First of all, Surdy Joshi, always loved the guy, and unfortunately had to bow out of the tournament after some nice play.
Look how dark those circles under his eyes were. I mean, the man is serious at this point. But Surdy, one of these players that, well, a lot of people might not look to as immediately one of the players that you think of as going to have this really big impact. Surdy has continued to showcase that he's a very intelligent player. He's got a lot of good thoughts about the game, and we expect that he will continue to improve. And so while he does bow out of the tournament for now, we'll see him again soon.
Yep, and next up is Takeover. Obviously the man with the memes, but also the man with the outplays, right? Making Spyrex look like a fool here, Jesserex.
Man, that outplay is absolutely beautiful. And yeah, Takeover was phenomenal throughout the season. Given everything he had, it was a bottom of the barrel team, you know, second to last place, and he still shows up with top of the ladder stats. Takeover, props to him.
Yeah, as well as Meech, obviously known for his mechanical outplays, and maybe not exactly showed here in this clip, but I still have been so interested at his growth, his development, and then none other than Yuji. Got to throw some praise on him, Joshi.
Yeah, Yuji is one of these players that we are also excited to continue to see growing. Right? Somebody who came over from Mongolia, who's gotten Challenger on multiple servers with over 100 ping. Yuji is one of these players that we know is going to continue seeing growth, and hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of him. I felt as though it was very fun watching the FlightQuest Academy story because it was Yuji who was one of the big names that was consistently performing well. He was not this rookie that was kind of one of these players that needed to see rapid development. I feel like we saw a lot of that, and it was actually an opportunity for him to try and carry a lot of his veterans.
I loved hearing Diamond's takes. If you haven't seen the documentary or the little mini doc we did on UG, definitely go check that one out on at Path to LCS. But we got to get to the nitty gritty. We got to get to Elimination Nation here, as we've got Team Liquid Honda Academy versus Immortals Progressive Academy. The longest slew of names I feel like I've had in a long time, since regular season at least. But this matchup in particular, you've already kind of alluded to the high highs we've seen from Team Liquid, and especially what we thought coming into Proving Grounds. But when you look at these rosters, Joshi, I'm going to give you a little minute to break down Team Liquid Honda Academy, because they are the stars, right? They just won Proving Grounds last split, and here they are in the lower bracket.
And they have the exact same roster, too. These guys were so strong this entire time, right? During the regular season, 81% win rate. They were able to go 29-7. These guys were so dominant. They showed so much growth from spring, but we're missing it. Suddenly, it feels as though all of the problems that they had during the regular season, where they just had a couple of games where they just felt like they collapsed, are coming in at the worst possible time. This Team Liquid is not gelling as well as it did earlier in the season. And now, going up against a team that they sped run in 1837,
Yep.
It's time to figure out how to play together again because Immortals Progressive are incredibly clutch.
They need to very, very quickly. You know, they might be the reigning defending champions, but you got to defend your title, man. You definitely got to defend your title. And some of the results we've been seeing, the Dignitas smash that we had before, the near perfect game from EGA. This is not common to how we've seen Team Liquid Academy in form before, whether it be summer or spring. They're looking a little shaky.
Yeah.
But-
It's tough. I want to see Team Liquid go right on back because
Yeah.
we're gonna show a little bit of an embarrassing graphic for me here in a
Oh,
second.
you know, it's
You
not that.
know.
I was gonna give you time. I was gonna let you talk about Immortals Progressive, get some stuff going. Nah, we'll go straight to it. Joshi, you want to explain yourself a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. Look. Based on how Team Liquid were playing in the regular season, I would stand by this, right? This was how they were playing. They were consistently doing better than every other team. They only were really losing to themselves, been making mistakes. But recently, they've been getting thoroughly trounced by teams that we were never expecting to actually be able to contest with them. And while this was how they were playing during the regular season, even Cubby, my co-caster, was saying it would probably be 9-9 instead of 10-8. This Team Liquid squad is not necessarily playing up to the standards that we've set for them or that they've set for themselves. They said that they are going to win Proving Grounds. Anything else is a failure.
All right, I want to put this on the side real quick. It's Joshi_TV. That is his Twitter. Direct all your comments straightly over there.
Oh, no. You're trying to curse me like Cubby, too.
But you're talking about some of those fallacies, some of the moments that we haven't seen them live up to the expectation, and I think that's something you also really have to hone in on, Joshi.
Yeah, I'm going to be entirely honest. I am not thrilled with the meta read that Team Liquid Academy have had so far during Proving Grounds, right? When they picked the Senyasu, I looked at it immediately and was like, I don't know if I want to call this disrespectful or overly confident because it hasn't looked good, right? This is the third time they've played it. The other two times, even though they won one of them, were not the way that they were trying to play it. And it feels as though the team isn't talking as much, right? We're seeing them make some simple mistakes and some T's and I's that are not being crossed or dotted that were so good during the regular season. It feels as though something has happened where they have been playing on autopilot, and for a team that relies so much on having the communication of Ayla and Armeo to lead the way, when those players are not necessarily talking as much, their gameplay just doesn't look clean.
And you know, you're talking about regular season. You also have to keep in mind how players view the regular season, whether they take it seriously or not. You know, for Team Liquid, sure, it was a very dominating summer split. They went through it no problem, had some of the best stats that we've ever seen in Academy, but now there's a different approach when it comes to Proving Grounds. Now people are popping off. Players like Insanity, like this lower bracket run that we have from coming out from Immortals, or AGT as a whole. You know, everything we've been seeing go through, they have to keep up with the competition. It's not just enough to stay at the same form you were at spring. You have to take the next step forward because the competition is too.
And could you imagine if we get to a place where Team Liquid Honda Academy are knocked out by Immortals Progressive?
Yeah,
It's going to be a
imagine.
fun one. I am so excited for this matchup. The only question is, are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, that's not what I thought was happening. I thought you were about to throw us a champion select right there, Lennon, but no, the thing about Immortals has been impressive to me is they have been reminiscent of the way that Team Liquid are playing in the first couple of weeks of Academy. They're getting away with so many clutch plays. Chad coming in, getting away with 100 HP, Vital barely walking away. The next play that we have, they end up getting a kill with the red buff, and then Joey saves them, right? The number of times where they are put in a bad situation, they're able to fight their way out of it is absolutely ridiculous. And Immortals was not playing this well during the regular season. They're leveling up right at the right time, and if we continue to see this kind of play, you know, we have to remember that Immortals got 4-0'd by Team Liquid during the regular season, and they were not particularly close games. Now it's going to be on Immortals to try and find to only a couple of wins in a single series to completely reverse the fortunes that they had during the regular season.
I do want to point out a little bit of a difference, though. It's something we were talking about before we went live with Kelsey Moser, and that's Chad. He was going for a lot of these very, very risky plays, a lot of these coin flip plays at level 1 when it came to the invades. Now he's going a little bit more stock standard. He's playing a little bit more towards his lanes, going on the tanks, going on more engagers. We're seeing a different play style because of that from Immortals, and it's resulting in this lower bracket run that we've been seeing come out. Of course, the rest of the lanes are showing up. There's a big argument to be had about Arrow in the last couple of games he's had, but overall, as an entire unit, Immortals are clicking, and it's the right time to do it because we're at top 6 now.
We are, and it's a battle for that land, right? And that everything on the line. The season could end. That's a lot of time invested to go home early. Speaking of, though, we put together a little something to hype up this matchup, so let's go ahead and check it out.
No, I didn't really think that we'd play TL unless we saw them in winners bracket or saw them in final. It was really surprising that they lost so many games in PG so far.
I think the loss was actually an advantage to us. I think it was coming sooner or later, just based on how the path of our team was going.
Watching their games earlier in the PG round, it was obvious that they're kind of off and they should have lost the EG.
When you lose, people start taking the game a lot more seriously because you're on your last life. I think it forced us to acknowledge that we can't just steamroll every opponent.
I think for us in Immortals, it's just consistently getting top 4, because I think being pretty, no matter what teammates we get, we've done it with rookies, we've done it with veterans, we're always getting top 4 regardless of who's really on our roster. I think it's just we provide a lot to our teammates and help them learn the game a lot.
When you have more experienced players and good players to first initially start out to learn something, they can teach you something faster than what, decent players will, just because they know exactly how your role intertwines with theirs.
I mean, I think Pretty and Joey, they are very good leaders. They will communicate well and kind of give their team a direction to follow.
I think Ayla has always been consistently in the top 3 of Academy supports. He's definitely able to play LCS. He's at that type of level, especially when he came back from subbing from Core JJ for that brief time. That guy was just piss smurfing every scrim set I played versus him. It was really scary, but now he's back to playing an Academy level. He doesn't seem like some unbeatable opponent. I think his laning is actually really weak compared to how good of a player he is.
To be honest, I think Immortals will be fairly easy comparatively to the other teams that we're gonna have to go against.
After watching the games, it doesn't really seem like they're some unbeatable opponent or they're guaranteed to win or anything like that. I think that the IMT plot armor will come through and we'll at least get 4th again.
We got so much out of them in terms of looking ahead at the matchup, but also listen to Joey pop off. I like it. I like it. Also, just shouting out when Ayla came back, things were not looking good in scrims. Can appreciate that. But speaking of Ayla, throwing a little bit of praise on this guy, even if we haven't seen the same performance, Joshi, I still think he's obvious a spotlight here for Team Liquid Honda Academy.
And as the #1 Ayla fanboy that we currently have in the Academy talent, I feel justified in saying this guy needs to step it up. He has not looked good in the past couple of series, and it's kind of interesting to hear Joey talk about it, right? Ayla was so good. He was undeniably the best support for most of the regular season. Only really Busio trying to contest that spot in terms of mechanical play, but recently Ayla kind of getting caught out a fair amount of the time, and we know we have higher standards for this player as well. He was one of the best players when it came to battlefield control, right? We'll see that in his upcoming ultimate. He was incredibly good at picking out people who were walking a little bit too far forward. He'll go for lots of kinds of flash plays with the Renata handshake. We've seen how well he controls vision against most of the other teams. And we also know that he's been in this position before, right? During his play in the OPL in the Oceanic region, he came so close multiple times to actually winning and having an opportunity to go to Worlds, go to MSI. He knows what it's like to be pushed up in this pocket where he needs to perform. And with the amount of pressure that he puts on himself, we need to make sure that he's bringing out the best version of himself to actually take his team to the top 4 land.
And I think if you look at, a bit of a roller coaster, I feel like that Ayla has been on, even if it's not that crazy of a roller coaster with that many G turns. I still think Joey would be a great test for him to prove, right? Hey, all the doubt, all that, nah, don't worry about it. We're gonna make it to finals. We're gonna make that run. And I think, especially in terms of looking at Team Liquid just stepping up as a whole, it's an important fact that we have to keep an eye on tonight. Because if Immortals Progressive come out in Deserex and upset this and send Team Liquid home, there's a lot of questions to be said.
It would be such a massive upset. As Josh said a little bit earlier, Team Liquid have 4-0'd Immortals in the regular season. Team Liquid have looked spectacular in the regular season. They can't lose this game right now. They have to keep up with a lot of the standards that they've already set, with a lot of the gameplay that they've already set throughout the season, and just best this. Just take this straight to Immortals.
I mean, if you're looking at this, if you're, looking at how to actually like put money on this kind of thing. Everything historically says that it should be Team Liquid sweeping Immortals in 3 games today. But just as Joey said, it's not the same Team Liquid. It doesn't feel like the unbeatable team anymore.
Well, we're going to have to find out who comes out on top in our first game as Champ Select is ready to go. So Desrex Joshi, take it away.
Bye,
All
Lennon.
right. Thank you, Mazel. And as we head into this, Champion Select now underway, Josh. I'm curious what your expectations are going to be into this draft. We've been seeing a lot of Zier bans lately. CLG made a pretty big emphasis on banning away Draven. That's something that Team Liquid are going to pick up as well, making sure that Arrow's not going to grab that one. The one pick that has been slipping out a lot, and it just got banned away, was Talia. A lot of teams have been letting this through, but not going to see it.
Yeah, we've definitely been seeing Pretty playing a lot more games of Talia and Azir going through, and Team Liquid have gone for different first picks in almost every single one of their games recently, trying to use that pick as a bit of a denial tool, right? We saw it going up against Perry, where they tried to pick up the Volibear, the Trundle, try and put Perry on picks he's less comfortable on, and now they're going to be using it as an extra ban and going up against Pretty, having a lock the Azir. Has been Pretty's second most played, and it has been something that he has seen a lot of success on. So Team Liquid not showing a whole lot just quite yet, but this pick that they allowed to go through to Chad has been something that they've struggled against, right? Perry has had great opportunities to play up against them. It's one of the best champions on the patch, and it has so much battlefield control.
One of the best champions on the patch. Chad hasn't been performing the best on it, though. Has been struggling to stay alive in a lot of the team fights, still playing towards the role that Poppy does, and that's to catch out with the stun lock, slam him against the wall, get the right people out of the fight. Looking at this next pick that came up, this was the next pick I was expecting to be picked up by Pretty. Pretty has been playing a lot into the mobility. If it's not Azir, Ari, LeBlanc is another one, Talia. With this LeBlanc lock-in, I definitely love it. I definitely love it because it's one thing that Immortals have to pay attention to, and that is that mid lane, getting Pretty to roam out and free from it.
But Pretty is not the same kind of LeBlanc that a lot of people think about it, right? When you watch players like Harry or Triple, who were some of our most prolific LeBlanc players in spring, Pretty is incredibly patient. He is so cautious with the plays that he will go for. And sometimes that's to his team's favor, right? He will always look at it. He will find big plays, but Armeo pulling out the Belveth? Nah, you're kidding me, man. I haven't seen this champion in so long. It's one of my favorite champs.
Yeah. I mean, we were there for the first game saying fishy until Twitch chat hated us. It's only been played once by Armeo in the regular season. He's bringing it back now, so going to be able to play that alongside the Aphelios that does get locked in. So a very interesting draft coming out of Team Liquid Honda so far, Josh.
Yeah, this is wild to see this Belveth come through. The game plan is so obvious, and this was why we were saying that a lot of teams were going to struggle to play Belveth against Team Liquid, right? Whenever you see this Belveth, you know that they're going to be playing for first Rift Herald, they're going to be playing for second Rift Herald, they're going to be playing to try and take early Barons. But the thing is, Belveth is too weak to do any of these things on her own. And Immortals have already picked a very strong top 3 in terms of playing around the first and second Rift Heralds. They will all be on reasonable power spikes around that time, whereas Azir, not necessarily going to be able to support the same way that the LeBlanc will. So it's going to kind of be on Bradley. Bradley needs to come up with a pick that is going to be so strong into the Gnar, so strong into the Poppy and LeBlanc, that it allows Armeo to override some of the issues that they were already looking at. And with the Silas taken off the table, that's one of the major counter picks to Gnar. I'm curious what Bradley's going to go for.
You know, I like Bradley's chances in this just because it's going to be against Vital. And Vital has been more of a team fighter than he has been a laner. Bradley is much more proficient in laning than Vital's counterpart, as Vital's only been here for one split so far. Still rather green, so we'll see what that counter pick is going to be for Team Liquid Honda. I feel like that gives so much leeway if Team Liquid Honda can get some pretty strong agency over towards that top side.
Yeah, I mean, with this Sejuani also taken off the table, 2 of the worst counter picks for Gnar are already gone. The only other one that I really think of as this champion is going to dunk on the Gnar has historically been Irelia, but you're not super excited about playing Irelia into the Poppy. You're not super excited about playing the Camille into the Gnar in terms of the laning phase, but it will allow them to play later on. And so a lot of the things that Bradley would typically go for are kind of removed from the table that I would expect him to try and pick up. Malphite's still on the table, and I guess Akali's not bad either, but none of these are excited to play into what IMT are already showing.
Yeah, I'm curious what Bradley is going to go for. He kind of had a little bit of a slip in with the Olaf, especially in summer. It kind of became his new Gangplank for a while, where he got his first losses on Gangplank, both in the regular season and Proving Grounds. Olaf was popping off until that Dignitas came, so almost went undefeated with that one. Spawn's going to be out of Immortals. They're grabbing the Misfortune. So, yeah, we're getting something a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of bit spicy coming out of here. Arrow going to pop onto that champion, but this does leave open that Renata. Very aggressive Enchantress. Going to be hovered by Team Liquid Honda.
I expect this to probably get locked in. The only other thing I could really see them playing here in the support role is potentially a Lulu, and I'm surprised Jan isn't hovering all kinds of different champions at this point. But the Bradley is going to bring out the Akali. He has showed a lot of proficiency on this. He was able to get multiple solo kills up against Tenacity, one of the other best top players that we have in the academy scene. Now he's going to be going into Vital, whose laning phase, as you said, has left a little bit to be desired. But Team Liquid, this isn't the kind of composition that we've seen them play quite as much. It is very much focused on individual interactions and trying to make these plays happen by yourself. They have engage coming through. You have Azir and Alistar, and then sometimes your affiliates can do things. You have pretty decent peel, but they don't really have a ton of battlefield control in terms of like trying to set things up during these longer fights. And there's big danger circles you got to be aware of. The Gnar ultimate's going to create so much space. The danger triangle of Arrow's bullet time is going to be so difficult for Team Liquid to try and walk through. I actually like Immortals draft quite a bit better here, and it's going to be on Team Liquid to showcase that they are able to just be better than Immortals in order to actually bring this one out.
I agree with you. It's a completely well-rounded draft that we're seeing coming out of Immortals Progressive, and it plays towards their strengths. Again, Pretty is going to be on the Blanc that time. And Joey on the Renata, absolutely fantastic at that. Team Liquid Honda, it is a spicy draft from them, but not in the ways we really expected from them. Josh, I want to ask you, you were saying you don't really like Team Liquid's read on the meta so far for Proving Grounds. How do you feel about this draft in context of that?
This is going to sound weird, because I like most of their champions, right? I'm unconvinced on the Bel'Veth right now. I don't think it's particularly strong, but I don't know if I like them all in this combination. Like I said, this is relying very much on individual play, and while I would say that looking across the board, the only place where I think they might have an advantage for Immortals is I do think Joey's actually a better laner than Ayla most of the time. Is that enough, right? Team Liquid have had the most dominant early game of any team currently in Proving Grounds. They are currently sitting at a gold difference at 15 over the 10 games that they played so far of nearly 1,700 gold.
All right, our first game of the day is now ready to go. Team Liquid Honda Academy versus Immortals Progressive Academy. Now going to hit the Rift, and again, this is elimination, top 6. You win here, you make it in the top 4, and you get a ticket to that LAN, but you gotta get the dub, and for Immortals Progressive, this is gonna be their biggest challenge.
This is going to be the biggest challenge. Again, let's go back and set the stage for what we saw coming out from Immortals. 0-4 against Team Liquid in the regular season. They lost the fastest game we've ever seen in Academy history in 18 minutes and 37 seconds. And it's not as though they were able to really come back during the regular season at all. They had to play through the play-ins, and they've had a tough road to get here just because they were knocked down to the lower bracket relatively early on by AGT, where they had to play 100 Thieves next, the best amateur team we've seen in a long time, and then they were able to take down CLG, who was perennially our 4th place team in the regular season.
I think it also brings up the question of how much are these extra games affecting Immortals? For Team Liquid, they've only had to play 8. Immortals have to play 12. They've been very, very active. One more series more so far. Going through a lot of the amateur teams is another thing that got to pull up onto that one. Botaku Gaming, AGT, 100 Next, CLG.
3 in a row.
Yeah, 3 in a row. But you know, it brings me back to those old gauntlet runs we used to see. Like, is this going to be enough experience coming through consistently to get you into a situation where you can be the bigger team to upset?
We'll see. I mean, I feel like they've set themselves up for a pretty good success. They've got a decent matchup in the mid lane. They have Arrow and Joey playing Renata plus Comet Misfortune, so they can really bully this bottom lane very effectively. And Jan and Ayla will not really be able to walk up, as we just kind of see the damage that is done just every single time they try and walk into the lane. It is kind of a tough spot for Team Liquid to find advantages in the laning phase on the bottom side of the map. And so it actually surprises me now then that Armeo, something we look at as this control jungler, is having away from the one place I think they can find kills early game.
Yeah, and with that whole bottom lane, the shove we've been seeing go out from Arrow and Joey, I want to say their performance through Proving Grounds has been spectacular. You already highlighted Joey. Joey has been so good at defending Arrow and making sure he doesn't go down. I don't want to just highlight Arrow's KDA. It's been Joey's defense on top of that. And even in games where teams have focused this bot lane, CLG Game 2 comes to mind, where Kebby just started pathing down there repeatedly. Arrow wouldn't die because Joey was doing a fantastic job of keeping him alive, and that let Arrow scale into the late game. That experience finally starting to show for this bot lane of Immortals.
Yeah, one of the biggest criticisms we had of Immortals during the regular season was that, in particular, Arrow and Chad would just get caught out at the worst time, and when they would die, it would prevent their team from having opportunities to go for these objectives. But that's not happening in Proving Grounds, right? We haven't seen them just end up giving up their leads in places where it feels like they shouldn't. And that is a huge growth. You said you didn't want to highlight Arrow's KDA, but his KDA during the regular season, 2.9. His KDA during Proving Grounds, 9.2.
Yup.
So no you! Turn it around!
The CLG series alone, 22 kills, only 1 death in all 3 games. As we do take a look into the mid lane, Chad trying to set up a gank, Armeo trying to find one of his own in the bottom lane, but both junglers only there as a little bit of presence.
A little bit surprised to see that, does Armeo not see the blue buff? Oh, he's backing away. Chad looks to be pinging out that he's very confident Armeo is still hitting the blue buff. So this is an interesting timing coming through from Armeo. We'll see if he has anything to do with it, but remember, this is a champion that mostly wants to farm in the early game, doesn't have a whole lot of opportunities to be aggressive, and instead, so far, is not going to be taking any risk, because Jan and Ayla didn't feel confident in their ability to actually support him going into the bottom side.
And that's the smart play we kind of expect from Armeo. Armeo, you know, a little bit more of a storied player. We kind of hesitate to use the word veteran a lot because there's this kind of like almost stigma around age. That has to just go away now, man. Age ain't nothing but a number when it comes to League of Legends. Look at Dokla last spring. Look at what's been going on with Armeo and Insanity. They've both been popping off completely. Armeo leading the charge, might not have the fanciest of hands, but man, does he make impactful plays.
Chad's here. Yeah, Vital very, very low, but they don't know that Chad's here.
All right, Armeo looking to lead the charge onto this one. Hops on the final and
nice!
flashes out of the slam. Beautiful play coming out from Armeo.
Very clean play coming out from John Armeo. There's a reason that a lot of his peers have said that they think Armeo should be one of the recipients of the most valuable prospect award. He has been so instrumental for so much of Team Liquid's success. And just seeing him go in there, it wasn't anything fancy, but he did everything that he needed to. The E only hits the lowest health target, and in that case it was 100% Gnar. There's not a way for Vital to escape that. John Armeo doesn't tend to take a lot of these plays where he has to push a lot of buttons in order to outplay you. And just there, the immediate flash as soon as Chad started the heroic charge, keeps him alive, gets him first blood, and already Team Liquid, despite being only up 1 kill, they're up 2 kills worth of gold already.
And that's an assist going over Bradley's Akali. That thing can get pretty deadly.
Oh?
Speaking of deadly, now the engage coming out of Ayla with the stun lock onto Arrow. Payback's going to be used, but no one's low enough to capitalize. Or is it? Nope, Jan starts to go low, but Chad shows up for the counter gank, will result in a kill returned over to Joey. 1-for-1 trade, both marksmen going down.
It's a 2v2 kill coming up for Jan and Ayla, right? For a player like Joey who was just saying, I don't think Ayla and Jan's laning phase is all that good compared to how strong they are. This is a strong statement already coming through. And Bradley, he's level 6.
Oh, he's going right after Vital. Will he set up the dive? Not going to use ult. Doesn't have it.
He already used it sometime.
So he can't take down Vital just yet. Vital's going to be okay. Let's take that recall. Bradley controlling the lane up here. I'm afraid to see what happens if Bradley gets more kills, right? I throw you back to week 7, EGA. He went, what, 10-2-4, outflanked the living daylights out of Evil Geniuses. Surdy couldn't even handle anything that Bradley was bringing with that Akali.
Yeah, so we'll take another look at this. It's just a very clean play coming through, and with, Cleanse not super useful in this lane, it's just Arrow choosing to try and hang on to his flash, seeing Machine Big and do the damage back. And I feel like Jan probably could have flashed a little bit earlier here, or just like not flash. But small criticisms after finding a 2v2 and getting ganked immediately afterwards. It still feels as though Team Liquid are mostly in control of this game. We're seeing a little bit more of the version that we were seeing earlier in the season.
So Armeo now starting to set up over towards his topside river. Deep with the invade here, Chad's going to be on the opposite side, so there's going to be a little bit more control for Immortals towards this bottom side if Chad wants to go for this Drake. He's starting it off. Looks like Team Liquid are kind of sniffing around here, thinking it could be a potential. There's not enough lane priority coming out for both the mid and the bottom lane, so Chad can't play with that too much. We'll be headed back over here where he walks over a control ward. Armeo knows where he is.
Yep, and Armeo taking away 2 camps already. Vital pushed in, and he's not going to have Rage at the right time for the upcoming play around the Rift Herald. This is what we said about Team Liquid. They're so good at stifling other people's plays, and now they're going one of their own. And gotta give a quick anecdote. I was playing Velvet with Rafa fairly recently, and I was very adamant, like, Mark, we gotta go for the Rift Herald as soon as spawns at 8 mid. And so we went and did it, we got it, but he wasn't level 6 yet, so we didn't have the strong party champion. But now look at this, Team Liquid, they do the classic thing, they leave Yana on the bottom side, but that's gonna mean a Rift Herald almost definitely getting picked up by IMT.
Yeah, almost strong inside track here. Armeo has to back off. It's not gonna be the biggest loss for Team Liquid. Even with losing this right now, it's the good thing about Belveth is you do get second chances. There will be another spawn of the Rift Herald. There's also the Drakes that you can also take. Meanwhile, Jan, with all that commitment from Immortals going towards that Rift Herald, it's still good for Team Liquid because Jan is free farming. He's grabbing plates.
Yeah, he gets plates. It ends up being an opportunity for them to kind of even out a lot of the play, but it's a little bit surprising to me, right? It's definitely a spot where Immortals are reacting well to what they knew Team Liquid was supposed to be doing. And Jan, again, this is one of the most common things. A lot of AD carries will come up for those plays, but Jan is one of the few that will consistently play towards the bottom lane, try and get this farm and plays, and oh god.
No way. Bradley.
Yeah.
Bradley, he's going for it. The dive set up, ticking away, but doesn't fall. Vital will stay alive, but the threat of Bradley keeps sending him back to the respawn.
Yeah, Bradley, that was a bit uncharacteristic. He definitely could have had the kill. He didn't get the extra auto attack off in the middle of it. So Vital gets to walk away and even gets to farm up this wave. We know Bradley is very aggressive, but Harry...
Ooh, Emperor's Divide will push Pretty into the tower. Pretty having to flash over the wall. No one's going to go down just yet, as the roam out from Joey doesn't find too much. The fight going to continue over in the top side, but Bradley cannot land onto Vital. Vital will still stay alive by the skin of his teeth 3 times in a row. Now over in the river, Armeo looking to challenge, but it's going to be a 3-on-2. Keeper's Verdict lands onto nothing. Chad still trying to play. Got the shield, now continues onto Ayla. Looking to use the steadfast presence to stop the headbutt pulverize, but Ayla just flashes. Now Harry arrives, takes down Pretty. Jan showing up, looking to gun down, gets the root onto Joey, and Joey has 4 of Team Liquid. Honda chasing him down. He is not long for this world as Team Liquid win out in the river.
Oh, that's the Ayla I've been looking for. That's the Ayla we've been wanting this entire time. Bill Wynn going forward, taking control of the fight and setting it up. I saw that 2v3 at the very beginning. I'm like, what is this? You're half a champion, Belveth and Alistar. There's no damage between these 2 members, but he is able to go back in as soon as everybody else is able to show up for the fight and take down Pretty. And this sets them up so well across the board. It's 4-1 in kills, but they're already up more than 2,000 gold. Now, I was a little bit worried because Ayla started off by pulverizing the ground. They're saying screw this part of the river in particular, but they're able to stick around for such a long time. Remember, Velvet doesn't do a whole lot of damage when she's not in her true form, especially this early in the game without items. But you know what she does do? Execute damage. You take down low Pretty, you set things up, you get that true form, you become mommy fishy, and suddenly they're able to do everything that they need to. They can keep up to Joy and find a kill for Harry as well on the backside.
A really high-risk play coming out from Team Liquid Honda, starting that disadvantaged. But, hey, it's the General, Armeo. He has a lot of experience. He knows the battles he can win. And Team Liquid Honda will win out ahead onto that one. Immortals will still pick up some scraps onto that, though. Will be Cloud Drake secured by them.
Yep. Doing a pretty good job, actually, from Immortals to actually keep this game reasonably close, even though the gold is starting to fall behind. They've picked up the Rift Herald, they've picked up the Dragon. Unfortunately for them, as always seems to happen, Team Liquid's laners are really dang good, you guys. Bradley, casually up 20 CS. Harry, in a counter-picked matchup, also up about 15 CS and has already picked up 2 kills after that last skirmish. And now Team Liquid, they try and push things in. They want to take control. And look at the level differences starting to come through. battle between the AD carries and supports, right? Joey, still only level 5.
And not just that, Armeo has Kraken Slayer, finished the Mythic. Chad, yet to do that yet. So now it's a lot of presence coming out from Team Liquid Honda as they go straight into the jungle of Immortals. Not going to be secured away. Here comes the hostile takeover, followed by the bullet time. A combo, but not enough damage to see Team Liquid down. Ayla now going to hold the front line. Keeper's Vertigo is out, going to yeet away Harry, as Pretty will follow through onto Ayla and claim a kill.
I guarantee that IMT, or excuse me, that Team Liquid are calling out, oh, it's okay, Joey's only level 5, we don't have to worry about the ultimate, and then they get taken by surprise. Now they're on the run, and IMT trying to chase them down. They're crashing the Rift Herald in the bottom side as well, and they find Jan!
Chad waits in the wings and finds his target. Jan falls in the bottom lane, and Immortals converting to more advantages, putting down the Rift Herald, getting the team fight win, another execute. They will collect some plates in the bot lane.
A single mistake coming through from the side of Team Liquid, getting punished so much, right? Multiple kills coming through. They take down Jan, they take down Ayla, they get 3 plates down in the bottom side of the map as well. Team Liquid, one mistake hurting them way more than I'm sure they were expecting. But we also get to see it's a little bit difficult for them to actually find a convincing win from Immortals throughout the first part of the fight, right? They only pick up the support, and the only thing that comes back around is the fact that Chad, a little bit of a psychopath, right? Waiting around the corner for Jan to try and do the Krugs.
You can't stop this squad. Immortals Progressive. When they want to hit that top 4, man, they continuously hit it, and they bring a performance that's looking to get there once again against Team Liquid Honda. They'll take a fight right back and not let this be a situation where Team Liquid are just going to bleed them out, just going to win this quite early. Still going to be a challenge, and one that definitely favors Immortals if they can keep this a little bit more on the even side. They got a strong front line, they got a good team fight.
Yeah, again, I like the Immortals composition a lot because it's all going to be spiking relatively soon. You have LeBlanc on a single item, Chad got an item completed, Idol is almost on his Trinity Force as well. All of these items coming together at the right time, and Arrow going for the Leandre's build as well. Everybody is going to be strong very soon on the map at the same time. Team Liquid are going to struggle to try to do it.
Joey is on the flank right now, not on a ward. Has a position to do the hostile takeover, and he'll use it onto Harry. Chad walks in, slams Harry into the wild. Comes the bullet time. Up in the air, Harry goes, and he will be shot down by an arrow. Pretty walking into the mid lane will just clear out the wave. As Immortals, they get another kill, this time onto the mid laner of TLA, and they'll transfer that to Rift Herald.
And Team Liquid, for a team that we credit so well with stifling plays by the other team, get attacked yet again by Joey over the wall. This Rift Herald should be going over, and Team Liquid, is Armeo going to try and really fight for this? Harry can teleport.
And Try Pretty is there too. Look at Vital, he has the Meganar. Gonna be on,
They
jumping
go
in.
in?
Bradley's going for it. Bradley's going for the play, tries to get some damage onto Arrow, but Chad will get the wall slam. Now looking for more is gonna be Armeo onto the back line. Payback goes out, but Arrow goes down.
Oh,
Ayla,
no.
there is the defense, and this is the Team Liquid we know and love as they challenge disadvantage in numbers. They'll still take the team fight win. Vital almost falling in the process.
No way,
Oh.
Armeo is still hunting.
He's on the hunt. He
Yes,
smells
Flash,
blood.
you're gonna kill Vital.
He's looking for more. He flashes and the payback's used. Is it going to be a double kill? He's looking for more onto Pretty. We'll take him down with another auto. Does he have hands? Yes, he does. Armeo with the double.
It's a John Armeo death yet again. This guy was carrying him so hard during the first stages of Urban Ground. He absolutely single-handedly dismantled Team Pending earlier on. He was huge in their win up against Evil Geniuses, and now finding a couple more kills on the backside allows the rest of his team to get back onto the map. But that was a 4v5 that Team Liquid opted into. That's not the Team Liquid we were expecting from Spring. This is the Team Liquid of Summer, and then as Harry comes in for the teleport, the way that Armeo is playing this Velva to take down low health targets, and then the reset heals him up, and oh, the damage across the entire team, setting up for everybody else. Armeo is looking so good, and while Immortals had some great plays from Joey earlier on, he doesn't have a hostile takeover to keep the rest of his team safe this time.
I love it when we actually get to see the mechanical display of Armeo, because it's not something we see too often. Usually it's just these very impactful plays. You know, we got glimpses of it during the TBA game. His Viego, he went 16-1-8. Now we're getting it a bit again. He's jumping, he's aggressive, he sees kills, he smells blood in the water, and he will follow it through.
and it's great. But the thing that we got to look at, right, is Bel'Veth is only starting to really become a champion, right? We've seen some great stuff from his executes, but it's not necessarily the thing that he can do all on his own. He's so reliant on the rest of his team trying to make plays first. They need to go in and get other players low for Armeo to actually reset. So this is one of the places where it's kind of been flipped around. Ayla and Armeo have always been the players that are going to be going for big plays earlier on in the game, and they will generally set other players up.
Pretty playing with fire over on this top side. As we take a look at the state of the map right now, 17 minutes into this, it's going to be about a 2K lead for Team Liquid, holding a lot of the vision control over this map, both deep into the Dragon side, now trying to transfer that towards this top side where Armeo is currently doing his hover. No tower over towards that top side. His first brick did go over to Team Liquid. What was a good start for Immortals in some of these early fights, now Team Liquid transferring this to a pretty dominant middle game.
We'll see if they can continue to expand this lead, right? They do have an Azir that is going to be a menace later on in the game. The Akali, you know, this is one of the weaker parts for the Akali going up against the Nara, as Nara does have a ton of movement speed, has a lot of burst damage, and as long as you're in Mega, you should be able to withstand the all-ins from Bradley. But we know Bradley has a lot of targets on the other side of Immortals, right? If it's going to be Mini Nara, if it's going to be the Misfortune or Joey's Renata, all of these targets are available. He just needs to go in.
Asking you shall receive. Unless he misses that last skill shot, then no follow through there. Armeo still shows up, has the rest of Team Liquid at his back, hopping onto Vital, and no one really responding to this one. Vital is just completely fed over, and this is going to be more gold going over to Team Liquid. Harry is defending over here into the mid lane. Shelly will be placed down, so still returning something. If they can get this tower, it would be pretty nice, but Ayla has something to say about that. Will chase away Immortals.
And as they clear out the Rift Herald, the turret will remain standing. Team Liquid do a good job of getting something and giving not much back.
Yeah.
Pretty also backing away. He doesn't have the mana. He's not confident in his ability to continue hitting the top lane turret with all the minions that are already stacked up there. Feels as though Team Liquid, this is a lot of the version of Team Liquid that we were used to seeing. Like a little bit of spring, a little bit of summer mixed in there. You gotta make sure you have the counterbalance of flavors. But Team Liquid, they're only up 4 kills. They're up 4,000 gold now, and as soon as they knock down this mid lane turret, if they ever get a chance to go for the Baron, remember that Bel'Veth's Barons are worth 2 Barons on basically any other character.
For Immortals, they still have a fighting chance to get back into this. It's definitely not over, even with this gold lead coming through. Hey, look at their team fight. It is pretty spectacular. Vital, if he can get a Meganar ultimate, they can just blow away this team comboed with that bullet time. Thing is, you kind of need the setup to get there, and Team Liquid are not a team to really allow that to go through. Doesn't look like they're going to too much contest for the 5v5 early on. You still want Yon to scale up. So they're happy to play these side lanes and just try and get flanking plays.
Yeah. And while we're talking about Vital a little bit, shout out to Vital Love, who I guarantee is in the Twitch chat. That's Vital's mom. She's awesome. She showed up through every one of his games that I've seen thus far. It's going to be on your son today to actually go for some of these big plays. He needs to set up Arrow and Joy for big opportunities. And Chad, waiting.
Oh, he wanted that angle on Yon so badly. Now, Chad kind of biding his time, but still doing better than what we've seen in the past from Chad, specifically on this Poppy. This Poppy hasn't felt like his big pick. This time around, he's facilitating it much better. Playing a little bit more stock standard than what we've seen in the past from Chad, and it's working for Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things about Poppy that is a little bit of feels bad, but we're going to explain it now so that Poppy players feel better about themselves, is that Poppy's strength is only rarely in her ability to be very aggressive. Poppy's strength is mostly in the fact that she keeps your team alive, right? Immortals has been a team that has so far had Chad do a fantastic job at keeping everybody else alive, using the Keeper's Verdict in order to keep players out of the fight, and it'll oftentimes save other members. We haven't seen a whole lot of that just quite yet, but as we start lining up for this Dragon, Team Liquid, remember, it might not be a 5v5 the entire time because Chad can boot one of them out of there.
For Immortals, as they walk into this, Joey will be looking for angles for this hostile takeover. Throughout the entirety of the season, that was kind of his thing. He would find these creative angles, these creative flashes, and get Immortals teamfight wins through that. Pretty, looking for a flank on top of that. Vital halfway through his Meganar bar, and Omeo has already started up the Drake. Pretty hops in, a burst of damage onto Bradley.
Everybody else is trying to create space for Romeo to do this. He's going to do it very healthily.
Oh, Ayla will push one away. The flash comes through. The steal from Chad. We'll be able to secure the Ocean Drake over to Immortals, and Team Liquid come up empty-handed.
Yeah, you see Team Liquid, they know that they can't actually take fights right now. That's why they're trying to create a screen for Romeo, but we also get to see Chad just boots him right on out of there, says, nah, you can't actually try and smite this. I'm just going to get rid of you towards the end of it. And
Wait.
Team Liquid, they're struggling to actually
No
make
way.
these plays happen. I mean, this is a play in order to get Harry's teleport.
Okay.
But they will just hit the Baron if Harry doesn't teleport. Okay, there he is.
Right, teleport channeled out. They're still going after the dragon, though. The Baron, excuse me. Now starting up. Here comes the hostile takeover. Goes on to Yon, but not going to catch him. Armeo is caught out. He's in no man's land. Still trying to get the kill on to Chad, but Chad will survive thanks to the payback. Bradley hops in, but gets pulled right into the bullet time. Yon, Bradley drawing out the battle lines as Immortals sneak out a kill onto Armeo. A bunch of small wins coming in for Immortals, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, Team Liquid would rather give up Armeo's shutdown than give over the Baron, but still, it's a feels bad Team Liquid. We're seeing some of the reasons why they've been struggling throughout the course of the Proving Grounds. Their composition doesn't do a whole lot as a group of 5. They need to be the ones proactive. They lost both Rip Heralds and Immortals, the players that were oftentimes giving them trouble earlier on in the season in terms of Armeo and Chad, Arrow and Chad going 2 for forward. Doing a great job. Arrow's on this Misfortune. He just sits back, he presses E, he presses R, he does a ton of damage. But look at this, right? It's about Chad. He knocks away Armeo, so there's no opportunity of a smite. And because Team Liquid have Yon and Harry kite to the other side of the wall, they can't even create a little bit of a defense around the rest of the Dragon. It just ends up going down, and Chad continues being clutch in these big games.
And I think he smited before the animation actually punted away Armeo. And
Hell yeah.
Damn. Good job, Chad.
Hell yeah.
Very good job, hell yeah. It's a definite way to put it. And for Immortals, we were talking about the deficit being 4K, now being shrunken down. Only about 2K separating these teams, even less at this point for Immortals Progressive. And a lot of this, realizing that they have a pretty good team fight. For Team Liquid, you're trying to play for a little bit of these flanks with Bradley. You have Bradley over down to the side lane, getting a push going over there. Does have teleport available as well as that ignite. If we can see him get a flank, then we can see a bit more life out of Team Liquid, but in the straight up 5v5, it is looking pretty damning.
It is looking pretty tough, right? And I feel like we have to remember that most of this gold lead at this point is coming from the fact that Team Liquid are just farming better, right?
Yeah.
You look across the map, and typically you will see teams say like, oh, RAD carry is getting all the farm, but it's your mid laner who gets it. And Team Liquid's like, nah, we just get resources and you don't, right? It's a lot of extra money getting picked up by Team Liquid. But again, how does the composition work? Right? like you throw Armeo and Bradley in, but neither of them are really tanks. Neither of them can really stand in the front line. You have this Alistar who's trying to function as a solo front line, but solo front lines going up against Poppy are no front lines at all because they can't actually sit there, right? It feels as though Team Liquid, their read on the champions that they are prioritizing is too player focused in a lot of the times, right? They were trying to get Perry on something uncomfortable. He's like, that's okay, I'll play my 4th best character, and not meta focused enough, right? Like this Poppy has been given over by Team Liquid over and over again, and is consistently giving them problems.
See if Team Liquid can now play against it, given the scenario they're put in. They still have a gold lead. It is giving them some issues, but Team Liquid are fighting through those issues. They like to set up around this Drake. It's going to be a minute before this Drake does come up. So much vision control established by Immortals Progressive so far. And for the setup, Josh, is this the point where we start to see Team Liquid contest a lot more around these Drakes? Is this the point where we start to see them fight?
I mean, we saw them try and contest the previous Dragon, right? The problem is they have to be there first, because they can't base check into bullet time and hostile takeover, and they also need to have a flank, right?
Yeah.
They need to do a lot of things that are very difficult for a single composition to do at the same time, and so, you know, we got to put pressure on the rookie of Bradley, right? We were already looking at Vital as being somebody that's going to be a big setup component for Immortals.
Oh, here comes Chad, gets the slam onto Yon, Keeper's Verdict goes out, still chasing onto Yon, trying to close that distance right there. Hostile Takeover is going to go out, only landing onto 2. Armeo and Ayla. Teleport comes out from Harry. Pushed back is Bradley. Team Liquid They can't get the engage, but something big right here. A lot of big cooldowns spent out of the side of Immortals Progressive.
Yeah, and Team Liquid don't exactly win this poke war, right? Their only real contribution is Harry, but he's getting outranged by Misfortune, and now Team Liquid start moving over to the Baron. If they get the Baron, it's massive for Mayo if they get it and survive, but they are just trying to pull IMT away from the Dragon.
Pulling him away from the Dragon. AK health remains on the Baron. Bradley standing on the flank, looking at his old teammate, waiting to pounce onto Arrow. 6k remains. Baron getting lower. Immortals feeling the need to make the play. Bullet time goes out. Bradley still looking for Arrow. Slammed against the wall. Chad dives into our Mayo. Now looking for the steal onto the Drake. It will be secured. Baron goes over to Immortals. Out comes the payback. Vital stays alive and flashes over the wall and is able to get out. Slammed against the wall once again. Chad will secure it onto Harry. Harry oh so low. Pretty chasing down one more kill. Ayla will escape, but Harry, however, there's too many distortions. LeBlanc will hunt you down, and so will Chad. 4 down as Immortals have secured Baron. Josh, what in the world is going on?
Immortals are going to be able to take this one down as well. They're going to get that Dragon on the far side, putting them one Dragon away from Dragon Soul. Their composition can just walk up to Team Liquid, and Team Liquid have no answers yet again. Immortals are just going to be able to pick up another I don't know. Like, Eric, I'm going to be real. Team Liquid, for how much of a fan I was, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan whatsoever. This composition doesn't do anything. You can't be hitting the Baron. You have to try and create space for Ermeo, but he's playing Belveth, who can't create space for herself. And it's allowing Immortals, like, they don't do anything fancy. They just walk up, and Team Liquid has to give ground to them. The Baron Smite, it goes over to Chad yet again, and Immortals, they are continuing to play more and more clutch. This is the version of Immortals that is going to be going to top 4, and while it is very funny that Ayla is able to walk away from this, it feels as though Immortals, they've got a better meta read, they are more proactive, they are more confident than Team Liquid.
I just don't understand what was going on with that play, what the call was around that play. Immortals were full 5. You know Immortals fight really well in choke points. You know they have a really good team fight. Now it's a lead over to Immortals, about 3k as they set up the siege over in the bottom lane, as well as the mid lane with Vital. And they are the ones sitting in the driver's seat. Chad's looking for more as he steps onto Jan against the wall once again, and Pretty will follow through. Picked off is Jan. No marksman for Team Liquid.
That's the 3rd time that Jan's gotten caught out, right? This is a criticism we've normally leveled towards members of Immortals, but it's Team Liquid that are making the same errors. That's, you know, we saw Jan get caught right on this wall right here. We saw him get caught in mid lane. We saw him get caught right outside his base, not respecting the space that Immortals have already taken. And with the 80 carry down, there's no way that they can actually clear this out. Immortals should be getting 2 inhibitors off the Baron.
Seeing a little bit of the Pretty show as he's on this LeBlanc, getting a lot of chip damage. Good chunk over there in the mid lane. Will follow through onto Bradley alongside Vital as the siege hitting 2 fronts, mid lane, bot lane. Mid lane turret will be the first one to fall, and with his cannon creep empowered by the Baron buff. And another wave following suit. Bot lane's gonna fall as well. 2 inhibitors now down as the base of Team Liquid Honda Academy in shambles.
With 2 inhibitors down, right? Immortals have a total control over the map at this point. These inhibitors will still be down by the time the next Baron is going to be coming up, right? They will still be down around the next Dragon. And so Team Liquid are going to be pushed back in 2/3 of the map at once. And it gives Immortals a very easy opportunity to just walk towards the top side. Normally, this is where we start looking at how Team Liquid come back in this game. And my answer is they got to be Team Liquid. They just got to be good, right? That is legitimately the only way. They have to assume that Immortals are going to make a mistake. But at this point, Team Liquid are looking at how they're going to be playing out the next game, because I'm going to be real, this is the 2nd time they've picked the Senna Yasuo going up against Dignitas Academy. And it was not it, right? This draft, again, they're not picking frontline, they're not picking engage tool. This composition doesn't do anything cohesively. And so Immortals, as they walk in, watch, they're not going to have to do anything fancy. They can, again, just walk at Team Liquid and dare Team Liquid to fight them.
Such a scrappy team, a scrappy roster that is Immortals, but they're coming together right now. Whether it be Chad from 100 Next, Vital just getting tried out, thrown in without any competitive experience, Arrow, a wealth that you have in that marksman role. Such a random assortment of players to have, and such a struggle they've had throughout the regular season, not taking a single game off of Team Liquid Academy. And here they are in the top 6, taking looking to take game number 1 of this best of 5.
And they will, and as Immortals start to walk in, they continue to choke the life out of Team Liquid. This is a much better look from Team Liquid, excuse me, from Immortals again, right? The way that they have played throughout Proving Grounds thus far, they've gotten away with so many small things, but they didn't get away with that today. They weren't getting away with that in a lot of their interactions in this game. No, they've just been better on the map. They've controlled a lot of the pace of the game. And as they actually start to look to close it down, here comes a teleport from Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley coming on the back lines. Arrow gonna spot out Bradley. The hop comes through from Bradley as he tries to chase down these carries, but can't lock down onto one. Jan isolates Vital, already 1 kill going through. Bradley now going after Joey. Joey's all by his lonesome. Bullet time goes off onto the choke point, stops Team Liquid from advancing. They've yet to lose a single member. Team Liquid Honda Academy, Josh, you said it. They gotta be Team Liquid. They're able to find a flank. Bradley gets the play going. And now Team Liquid, they can breathe a big breath of air, big breath of relief.
But they gotta start breathing again here pretty soon, because they gotta fight outside their base very shortly, right? The only teleport they have now make this play happen inside their base. And so while they save the top lane inhibitor turret, now they gotta go contest the Ocean Soul. Now they gotta go contest the Baron. Again, if Team Liquid ever get a Baron, it could be game ending almost on the spot. But how do they get there? Pretty's gonna blow up Armeo.
Oh, Pretty going after. Coming through. Armeo has to be careful though. Give respect to this LeBlanc. It's 3 items deep right now. Stopwatch also completed, so that much harder to take down this LeBlanc, but Harry is going to damn well try. As Team Liquid Honda Academy, they get control of the mid lane, but Pretty, he's deep in the jungle looking for a flank.
Yeah, and remember, for Immortals, doing nothing is winning. They have a super minion wave coming down in the bottom side of the map. They have a flank coming through from
All
Vital.
angles.
Chad's on one side. Oh god, Team Liquid, they're getting bottled up.
Oh my god, they're going in all angles. If this Keeper Verdicts, if this lands, oh,
They can go mid?
That would be absolutely distraught right there. Yeah, Vital's already in. Vital's already mid right now. He's pushing in the wave. Team Liquid starting up the Dragon, but Immortals definitely going to contest this one, being chased away. Recall coming out from Bradley. Will try and meet Vital over there, but there's the bullet time. It's going to be on to 3. Ayla will be able to stop it, but the steal from Chad once again. The General no more. He will dethrone that as Armeo Smite steals the Drake for Dragon. So pretty over the wall with the distortion, and Armeo might be the last one standing for all of the hopes of Team Liquid in this game number 1, but he will get dropped by Vital, by Pretty, by Chad, by the momentum of Immortals Progressive as they continue their lower bracket run and look to close out this game number 1.
Here we go, Armeo, the hero that Team Liquid needed, but not the one that was able to save the game from them. Bradley, the only remaining member. He's going up against 3 with Ocean Soul. There's no way he's going to be able to defend this one, but brutal early first game from Team Liquid. They had a really big lead, but yet again, the way that they played the mid game has left a lot to be desired. Immortals outplaying them around multiple dragons. Chad, a huge hero for Immortals so far in Proving Grounds, showcasing why he was able to take 100 Thieves so long ago to an actual championship.
Immortals Progressive taking that game number 1 and stopping the trend of the summer. Team Liquid, every game of the regular season belongs again. No more as we head into Proving Grounds. Immortals, their 13th game. That momentum, it's looking like it's working, Josh.
It's looking like it's working. And again, I'm still holding my breath a little bit, right? For how well Immortals has been playing in Proving Grounds, it's still going to be Team Liquid. I'm going to be looking for Chad to try and recreate this again. I really hope that Team Liquid deny him the Poppy going forward, because it's giving their composition so many problems thus far. We'll see how Team Liquid adjusts in the second game.
All right, so that's game number 1 now in the books, going over to Immortals Progressive. We're going to throw it over a short break, but while we do that, we got a little documentary that we want you to watch on Ayla.
League was kind of just a fun game to play, to pass time and to hang out with friends, but eventually I found it really rough to sort of continue the normal high school life. You kind of forget, or you kind of realize that there's no meaning to your life, or at least that you know. You kind of don't know what you want to do in life. You don't really enjoy studying. You don't really enjoy going to school. And yeah, that was how it was for me. I kind of hated my life at the time in high school. Gradually, I realized I could actually have a goal to chase in life. And I think that's really important. And I think a lot of people struggle to find that reason. I really pushed myself to sort of take the league route. And at the time, it was a very risky journey because in OS especially, the money that League of Legends players earn is below minimum wage. Like the amount of hours you'll put in, because you would play full time for like the majority of the year. In my eyes, that was like the only option I had. Like there was no way I was gonna go through high school and go through college. So coming into OPL, my expectations were shattered a bit. I wasn't as good as I thought I would be. Because I did not have the easiest 2 years in OPL. It was very hard learning and adapting to becoming a pro player and what I strive to be. If people did say that I was choking in finals, I think it would be deserved. I know myself more than anyone, and I personally blame myself for both of the losses.
I've never heard a player like be so critical of themselves after a big game. Experience counts a lot when you get towards things like finals, best of fives, those clutch moments. And I think that he just had to play his way through them. I don't think he ever played spectacularly poorly.
The answer is nothing. Hextech Ultimatum goes down. And now we're going to look at the end. Surely with the Cosmic Radiance on every single member of this game, they go for the Nexus. They're going to go for the end. And it was that dramatic that the game just froze right there.
Split 1, we'll play against a team called Direwolves. And we'll up 1 game to 0. We're about to be up 2 games to 0. And all of the PCs disconnected as we were hitting the Nexus. But the game was over. But the officials wanted to chrono break because they felt like it was still not a done deal. And it took an hour and 15 minutes to chrono break the game. We come back after that, we win the game in like 25 seconds, and then we get reverse swept.
Losing 2 finals in a row in like sort of a dominant fashion really puts a lot of doubt in your mind about whether you're a good player, whether this is the right path for me. Because for me, League of Legends was my whole life. There was sort of no plan B. It took several months for me after each finals, both on Chiefs and on Order, to sort of recover from that.
And yeah, we'd go on runs together. And at the time, we were sponsored by Red Bull. And we actually did a fundraising run, like a charity run.
Our goal we set was 15 kilometers. We practiced for like 2 months or something, constantly running every day. And I think over that time, I sort of realized how much effort you have to put into being healthy and the amount of discipline it takes to get better at things. Like you kind of sort of do it every day, give yourself time to rest, but also work really hard every day. And yeah, we practiced really hard. And in the end, both of us ended up running the full 15 kilometers, and very proud and like a moment I will never forget.
I'm telling you, Bill is going to North America! Bill is going to North America! Bill is the man of them! Holy! Bill is so... What is that?
Hearing that the OPL would get disbanded was very rough to hear, because I really wanted to win the OPL, and knowing that it would get disbanded would mean my future. At least at the time, I thought my future would be over. But it came with a silver lining, because obviously Riot announced that OS residents wouldn't be considered as important anymore in NA.
I needed people that knew the culture that I was going to bring to a team. So it was always a non-negotiable that I brought at least 1 player with me, and that was always going to be Ayla.
It was a really big surprise for me when he first asked me to like go with him to NA and play on Team Liquid, because obviously Team Liquid has like superstar players in the LCS team, and it was like a super honor for me. And also, I think it's playing with Spawn and Ayla again. I think I like playing with them a lot, and just being with them again. Like, we couldn't win in Order, and winning on Team Liquid would be like a dream come true, right? So it worked out in the end, and we did get we won Academy and Proving Grounds now, so yeah, it's been a really good experience.
The one sad thing is like I feel like there is no better support than Ayla in LCS. So I don't know, like I'm sad that I can play in here right now, but I'm sad that I can't play against potentially the second best support player in LCS.
Having Core like publicly say that he thought I was second best support, I was surprised by that. I was very honored to hear that, but I don't think it really changed my confidence. I know that I'm very good. I just know I will have to prove it first. So while people might say that I'm second best, I know that it will just take time to show, and that when I come to LCS, I will be able to prove that I can be whatever I want to be, and I want to be the best support ever.
We see kind of last split when he's the experienced player playing that best of 5, game 5, against maybe a younger support in Busio. It's actually, you know, Ayla that has the big turnaround play on Renata to secure the game for us.
Oh, yeah, of course. They want to look for it, and now the counter engage might be available. Look at Busio. He's already popped the quickness, ready to defend his backline. So he turns his attention towards Jimmy instead. But Team Liquid don't fight the engagement. Now they're on this choke point. This Barn Horn is going to be so massive. But the whole takeover from Yon and Ayla. The best bot lane in Academy. Turn the fight around.
Busio goes down, trying to protect Wixie. It is disaster for the Thieves as that ult from Ayla, the best player we have in Academy.
If coaches and other players are seriously not looking at him and being like, yo, this guy should play LCS, I genuinely think there is nothing else I can do or he can do. Like, maybe I can get an LCS job and take him with me. It's like the honest answer to that, because I think he has done more than enough.
Down the line, I would say I want people to look up to me as sort of an inspiration to their lives. I think if they realize what I've come through in the past, how much work I've done, and sort of what I had to push through to come to where I have, I think people would hopefully use that as an inspiration, sort of to push themselves to pursue their dreams, do whatever they want to be, whether it be League of Legends or not. But just make sure that they keep pursuing their dreams and making sure that even though they might come into obstacles, whether it be, you know, failing once, twice, or even 3 times at whatever they want to do, just making sure that they know that it's always possible in the end if you try hard enough.